Now, as a filmmaker, you know about first cuts.
Yeah.
What about first cuts?
It's a
It's torture.
It's just
Like
it's a draft.
common knowledge, I think, between filmmakers
Yeah.
is that a first cut is like, because first cut means the sound isn't mixed yet, the color
not
isn't done.
colored,
If
yeah.
there's animations, they're gonna be just like very basic right now, raw.
Yeah.
And there's room for like it's the usually the longest cut you make too
It's
because it's like
unseasoned chicken.
yeah, yes, wow, I like that. All right, let's start off. Who
Good
are you?
morning, my friends. Ignore this guy. My name is Divo, and I have come to save this podcast. Very nice.
Would you say Borat's like your top three?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see a lot of influence.
Borat. Thing is,
Yeah.
I've been obsessed. I wouldn't say obsessed, but I've liked Borat for a very long time. I was in elementary school when I first saw the movie. So
I saw it for the first time last week. The first one.
say wallahi.
Wallahi.
That's crazy.
It's cray.
That's
Um,
crazy.
So sorry, the reason I brought that up was because of that accent. But what I was gonna ask you first. Oh, first of all, let's start off with this
Yes,
is Debo.
Good morning, everybody. I am Debo. I make films. I record the films. I edit the films. I do a music video. I do a sing song. I do different things.
You run a studio,
I run a studio,
Cube Studios.
Cube Studios.
Yeah.
And
That's one of the reasons why I want to get you on the podcast is because I think that there's a similarity between us.
Yeah.
To what I see is you always have a bunch of things cooking. You know.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing, which also I think is like a defect in both of us as well.
Yes.
Because I think it's better if you do focus on one thing. But
It's a handicap.
it's a handicap. Yeah, we mask it. We make it sound like it's because we're like these creative people that need to do so many things. But it's a bit of like a ADD
It's like
side effect.
a retarded superpower.
Oh,
That's a good way to put it.
that's very fucking interesting way to put it.
I mean, yeah, like for sure, like you said, like we wanna branch out and shit, like do like so many different things, but then you realize like at the end of the day, you gotta really kill it at least in one area
Yeah,
because
doing five mediocre things isn't great.
No.
You should be a master of something. Yeah.
100%. So like,
It's like
Yeah.
master of none. That's what they call it, right? Like,
Master of
yeah,
none.
master of none. No, yeah.
or on the other hand, you can call it jack of all
Jack of all
trades, but
trades,
you know,
yeah.
it's like just what way you look at it. But I guess yes, that's like that's the whole problem, right? I mean,
But I don't know. It's a problem. But first of all, I think it takes. I'm not trying to toot my horn or your horn, but it's like I
Mm.
think it does take a specific kind of mind to kind of be able to do five things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
for
so,
sure.
there's definitely something that's positive in it, 100%. But it could become a handicap sometimes because you feel like you started five things and you're like, oh fuck, when you're in the middle of them, like, oh shit, I gotta like take care of all these five things too.
yeah.
So-
I mean, in my experience, I guess I'd say the number one. The thing that I found out about why I'm not as effective as I think I am, is just because of is just like the fundamentals, like the very basics. So like, I feel like the fact that I don't have my baseline just completely structured, like my days organized to the T, and like all that basis not completely done up nice and polished to the point where it could be. That's the reason I'm not able to branch out as effectively as I'd like to imagine. If that makes sense.
Yeah. If like you can still do five things, but if your base is organized, then at least like you're starting off strong every morning and every day is like organized. So then now you can focus on. But if you're also trying to organize while you do these things, that's when it gets
It's
messy.
a hurricane.
Yeah, because then you're like you're freaking Tasmanian devil basically at that point because you're just like you're spinning because like oh I gotta do this, oh frig I got a 4 o'clock that time, oh I didn't even start this thing which I was supposed to finish by tomorrow. Like there's so many things because
Yeah.
it's it's organization.
You know what it is too. Like you just said, you have like a 4 o'clock, and then you have this, and then you have an editing session or whatever. The biggest thing I realize that I struggle with is if I'm, for example, all right, cool. Like let's say my day is today. I wanna reach out to some clients and just discuss some details about upcoming shoots or whatever. A lot of producing stuff, and then
Yeah.
organizational stuff, admin work. But then I also have to edit that same day. What the biggest challenge for me is switching from that business mindset,
gears,
that gauge,
the different gears.
switch the gear. Yeah, exactly. Drop it into creative mode. Now you're editing a video. I feel like I'm like kind of absent-minded, and I end up diminishing both. Like I end up.
No, I
you know
get
what I mean?
that. It's weird because it'll take this is where it's like I think I'm gifted in certain areas, but very challenged in a lot of other areas. It's like if I gotta like even if it's like an email I got to send to a client,
Mhm.
that'll take me out of my creative zone. Because now, like you said, you're in that gear. So to get back smoothly into like an editing zone or a creative zone to even do a shot list for something or whatever, it's like you're playing these different hats, which I'm hoping that by doing it over the next like more and more and more, you get quicker at it. But it's the switching of like I'm now talking to a client, I have to go over details at a more logistics level. It's more about this is the deadline, this is the timeline, this is the detail of how we have to shoot this, and this is what we need expected for deliverables and all that.
Mhm.
Then right away I have to go into a mode of okay, this video needs this effect put in or this edit needs to be done, and it's creative stuff. Sometimes I have a hard time switching because now that I did the business thing, I kind of want to do more business stuff because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a cool. Okay, I got this done. What else business stuff can I do to cross off the list? You know?
Exactly.
'Cause I'm in that world now.
100%. Like you get into that element, and then you kind of get you get the ball rolling a little bit, and you want to keep doing it, and then all of a sudden, fuck, you have to drop everything and then start
Yeah.
from the
You just start the
bottom
fire again, right? You
Yeah,
have to start,
exactly.
because like right now you're fired up.
The
You're like,
momentum.
oh, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
same thing with creative stuff. If I'm like in a mode where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're doing an edit and I got to figure this shot out. Oh, I finally fixed like this. There was a little boring lull in this video and I fixed it now with this edit and I'm like loving that and I'm like I want to do more creative shit, right? Or even a crazier example, sorry, is writing. For me, it's like if I'm to get to a good momentum for writing, it takes some time. You don't just sit down and you're like words. Sometimes it's like you sit there and you're like, yeah, you type a bit, then you think,
sure.
and you watch a video, then you just kind of like procrastinate because you're waiting for something to hit you inspiration. It takes me an hour to get there. I start writing now. It's like, oh crap! In 20 minutes, I got to do a phone call with a client.
Yeah,
know?
see, that's like the biggest buzzkill for me. Like, if I got like, if I want to tap into that because I feel like like you gotta be in a certain element to really produce the best material like you can and create the best stuff you can. You have to be in a certain mind state. It's almost like this state of trance, like that state of flow, right? And that's what I aim. When every time I touch a project, whatever it may be, I want to get to that level. But I can't do that if I got other shit on my mind and working on other stuff, and it's just like biting at me and stuff, and then it's just the whole like a clusterfuck
Yeah.
of
And it's this like now because I mean I don't know I feel like I think I know what you were kind of like as a student. You also probably had ADD and you were like trying to do like you were thinking of multiple things even while studying. For me, that's what
Yeah.
it was. So for this stuff, it's like that kid in me comes out too, where it's like once I'm like distracted by something, I double down on that distraction too.
You know what's cool is you actually made a pretty good observation. So for me, I realized when I was in school, the only time I'd actually be able to really sit down and focus is when I have a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
Because that kind of plays into it's like, okay, now I have like really no, like if I have that
You have a
spare time.
deadline. You have like a date that I have to finish it by tomorrow.
Yeah,
Then you're like,
exactly.
okay, I gotta focus.
That's when I can actually get into the zone and whatever.
Dude,
but-
I would study for exams in university on the day of the exam.
yeah,
Because that pressure got me to study.
same.
You know what I'm saying? Which is so messed up.
Same.
And that's what kind of sucks, man, is like we kind of, it's not like we learned from it. We kind of brought it into our adulthood as well. Because now it's like we're doing the same shit. But now
Yeah.
it's like, when's it due? Oh, this music video has to come out next Friday. You should be like working your ass off right now. And we are, but it's like now I've taken on another project in the meantime. So
Mhm.
now it's like, oh, I have this project. Well, I have to edit this music video. Oh, and I took another project on this starting next Tuesday. Oh, shit,
Mhm.
I got to do pre-production for that. So it's like, we kind of, I feel like that's the only way we kind of work, though, is like if there was only one thing that had to be done in 3 weeks, I'd be kind of like, oh, all right, I'll get to it and stuff. But
Eventually.
but because there's so many things
Yeah.
happening, it makes my, yeah. So it's like a double-edged sword because I take on more things so that I can do more things and be more focused. But then taking on those more things that we just talked about takes away the focus sometimes too. So it's like this weird double-edged sword where it's like that's the only way I can work, but also it's not the best way to work. If that makes sense.
It's no, I mean you pretty much encapsulated that pretty well. Like that's basically it. It's an entanglement
Yeah.
with August.
Nice.
Nah.
Good,
Yeah.
great reference, bro. Great reference.
But yeah, no, for sure, man. Like, I mean, there's some steps that I'm taking, I guess, to kind of make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things I'm starting to do is take less projects on. So I realized I was like, if I were to kind of eventually get back to that point, or I get to that point in my head where it's like I can do all these things at the same time, I feel like I kind of have to work backwards. So I'm starting to take less projects. I'm starting to take some ease off my shoulders and then go back to that base.
Is that your way of saying you don't want to shoot Nike on Thursday? Are you breaking it to me on the podcast?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
But
I mean, look, like for example, there's stuff I've commit to already, right? Of like a big music video coming up, Nike stuff like that. Those are things I have like listed down. It's like, okay, I want to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
bang these
But then
out,
you wanna.
and then I want to take it slower
But that's
after.
the whole double-edged sword thing, man. Because I know that feeling, and I felt that's why I don't take this shit for granted. Like that I am like
Hmm.
struggling with like juggling things, because I've been in a situation where I'm like so much is happening, and then I'll clear my plate, and I'm like now I'm gonna slow it down. Now I'm gonna even take on gigs that are like less shooting stuff. It's more like it's a big project, like a commercial thing, but it's more edit focus or whatever.
Hmm.
Here and there, like less of me to. And because I remember being in the stress of it all and being like, fuck, I need more time to myself and just time to think about other projects
Right.
and focus. When that happened, when I finished projects, and then I got to a point where like I only have like one project next month,
You're like, fuck, I need more.
dude, I started getting antsy.
Yeah, trust.
I'm like, fucking, like I think I want that, but as soon as I get it, I'm like, oh man, I don't like being like, I hate not being busy.
Yeah.
Like it took me last year having a weird year in 2019 to get to a point where this year I realized that to me success is like, yeah, my company's running by itself, and then I got projects coming up, but I'm like, everything's kind of what is it, an oiled machine, like a self-oiled machine where it's like it's just like spinning, and I could be at home for like and doing chill and like watching TV and shit, kind of relaxing and still making money. That's what it was at one point for me, and that's what I
Hmm.
thought I wanted to get to. I kind of tasted that a bit last year, tiny bit, where it's like I wasn't that busy, but we had gigs where it was going smooth, and I did not like it. So I realized success to me is being, even when I'm 60, being busy,
100%.
like
And
fruitfully busy, because you could be busy and like hate it, but you know what I'm saying, like
yeah, and just to clarify, I guess a little bit, I completely agree with you. Like for me, I'm the type of guy that if I don't got shit to do, then I get like depressed, like I get down and shit. So I constantly need some excitement. And where do I find that excitement? I find that in work.
would knock
Right.
on wood. We're pretty blessed for that already. People
Yeah,
don't say that. People try to get away from work. That's their relaxed time, excitement. They do adventures and shit.
a hundred
For us,
percent.
we get to literally breathe and
Exactly.
work on shit that we want to.
The question though I asked myself is, if I were to kind of slow it down, it's not a matter of doing nothing during that time. It's a matter of what am I going to be replacing it with, and that's kind of the puzzle. So I said, okay, let's say I take less projects on, and I got this extra space here now. So what am I going to do with this extra space? So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to try to structure my life a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Have a dedicated schedule where I wake up at
And
this
take on specific projects that
specific projects, but also another thing, but this is more personal, this applies to me more so, is I realized I want to create more original content. And I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I haven't really been making videos at a professional level for very long, like maybe a year and a bit, which is basically nothing in the grand scheme of things. But I realized that I got to a point where it's like, I thought that the fulfillment that I was looking for would be in creating these projects for clients and stuff. And I realized, like, you know what? Yeah, some of them are good. When you have those really cool projects, and some of them are fun and stuff like that, and working on sets and stuff. But I was like, yo, the real fulfillment for me and the end goal that has always been to create original content,
Mhm.
is to create, like I told you before, like I want to make docs in the future. Like I want to make cool documentaries and stuff, and just yeah. So like that was basically it.
So
So I
they'd be
said,
more selective.
yes, so I want to be more selective so I can
Mhm.
kind of maintain the profession, but then also make that time by structuring my base a bit better, make that time so that I can start making more original content. So I'd be replacing that time with taking, instead of like 5 projects, I'll take 1 or 2 projects, and then I'll take that other time to kind of organize myself a bit better
Mhm.
until I get to a good point, and then also take that time to be creating more original
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what it is for me.
But when you say original stuff, another
Per-
word for it,
Personal branding,
passion projects.
passion projects, but also a lot of it is centered around myself. So like I want to actually do me shit,
Mhm.
cause I mean, like, for example, ever since I was a kid, like when I was in middle school and shit, like, I was
Like
fascinated
2 years ago when
with
you were in
youth.
middle school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cause you're young as shit. That's
All
the point. That's
right,
what
all
that
right,
joke was.
Grandpa.
You're young as shit.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
Go
um,
on.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. But yeah, cause a fucker, like, all right, like it's not a diss, fam. Like,
Yeah, you took it. You made it weird.
Oh.
But now he's like, yeah, I'm young. Whatever. All right, sorry. Go on.
Nah,
Since you were
it's a
young.
good
Since
thing.
since you were young.
Anyways, so I was fascinated with YouTube. I was fascinated with like just creating my own shit. you know, my own story, my own characters, my own my own content
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I'm just so obsessed with that, and I
Mhm.
realized that I thought that I would find that in creating really cool projects for other people, but it's not the same. When I sit down, I'm like, shit, this is for me, and it's like,
Well, it's like how I kind of say like the commercials and client stuff is like film school for people who don't go to film school. Like you're learning so much, right? So
mhm,
that's the thing, right? Like what you did, the order of things you're doing, I think is pretty smart still because it's like you you realize younger, oh, I want to make a brand. Then you started doing other people's projects. Like you're like this will kind of help and get there. But
mhm.
even though it's not, you're not working on your own personal image, your personal YouTube videos, whatever it is. You learn so much doing that when now that you're going back to like it's gonna be personal stuff, it's
Just
gonna be
gonna kill
better.
it. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
fucking kill it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's just yeah, man. I thought I got fed up a lot faster than I thought I would. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, cause for me it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's say I want to I want to generate revenue, right? Like I want to make money and stuff. So I have like a couple different ways I do that, and I thought one of the ways would be, okay, cool. I'm gonna consistently do projects for a little while until I get to a decent spot, you know, where I can kind of have a name for myself in the industry and stuff like that. But then I realized I was like, dude, I don't know how long I can keep this up for. Like it's just not. I don't know how much it's doing it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like my maybe it's the type of projects I've been taking on, even though I've been taking on very selective clientele, you know, like,
Well, I don't know if this is gonna be an issue for you, but what you're saying about that, right? Like, how I
yeah.
was saying, and hopefully you're better than me at it. But you're saying you're gonna take less projects so you can focus on personal projects in a way, right?
Hmm.
That's the sum of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like for me, the reason I have a hard time with that too sometimes because I have other scripts that I want to do, right?
Hmm.
But it's like I don't know if you're gonna have this roughness, but when you don't take client projects, we're talking about pressure,
Yeah.
right?
Self-regulation.
Right? Because it's
Fuck.
like if you do your own passion project, right? You don't have a client telling you it needs to be done by next Monday, right? So
Right.
that I mean, which again, it's not impossible, but that I think is such a fucking underrated discipline to
Yeah.
like literally,
It's one of the hardest things.
yeah. Because it's like if I have a client, like, and that's why I do focus more on like the business stuff too, because it's like it allows me to have a schedule now, right? Like it's like I have to do this for a client, and then I try to put my passion stuff in the middle of that, kind of trick it, put a little mask on it, where it's like this is part of all the work I'm doing right now. Okay, I have to literally fuck with my head. Like I have to play games with it to make sure I do my own personal projects. Because otherwise, I'll get so lazy. Like as a feature film script, I started like 6 months ago, and I'm still like, it's done. It's being done, but so slowly. As opposed to if a client that was like, "Yo, there's a project happening." Obviously, money's involved too, like right away off the top. That maybe that helps the motivation too. But when it's like that, it's so much easier to complete a project as opposed to when it's a personal project.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just that just simply comes down to like dedication and self-regulation, and a matter of how bad do you want to do that.
Hmm.
And I think I found myself at the point where it's like, I mean, people, you know, like for me initially, I thought, okay, the fulfillment in this is going to come from being able to do film, right? Whether it's shooting for other people, whether it's shooting for brands, or shooting whatever it is. I thought that's where I was going to find the fulfillment,
Hmm.
and I just didn't. So now I'm like very motivated to get out of that to a certain degree.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I only I'm only going to be taking on very few like clients, like,
Hmm.
but it's like yeah, it's just a matter of how bad I think, and I feel like I've tried to do it in the past, and I wasn't necessarily in the same position or mental space as I am now,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's kind of like been a little bit of like enlightenment, I guess. Like I've
yeah.
kind of seen what things could. I don't know. Yeah, you know what I'm
Which
saying?
you
Like
couldn't have gotten to unless you did that
unless
route. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
which
I'm
is
not bitching. I'm
yeah.
not
No,
bitching,
no,
but like,
no,
you know,
no,
like,
no.
yeah,
But I'm what I'm saying is like I'm just a believer of that too. Though it's like you
yeah,
got to sometimes do the shit to get to the gold.
100%.
It's like that. Even to not even the work. Like yeah, that's also true in literal work. It's like you have to make shit projects to make the gold. Sometimes that is part of it. You
Yeah,
make something, you
oh,
learn, you learn.
100%.
But I'm saying even then like you having this epiphany. You have to go through that crap to do something you don't want to do to figure it
Yeah.
out, which a lot of people don't, man. I feel like there's so many intelligent and creative people out there that don't take those steps because they
Hmm.
do one thing that's kind of shitty and they're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But if they stuck to it, which is, I think that's what separates and people who actually live their dream is people who go through the shit being like, oh, it'll get better. And not only will it get better, it's like they look right now in the moment. They're like, I'm learning shit right now instead
Yeah.
of being like, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how am I getting? And I mean, I'm not. even for me, like I'll still say fuck the shit because you get so frustrated.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
gotta still have
Facts.
this out of your mind, being like, what am I gonna learn from this though? You know, which you're doing, and instead of you being, you could have easily been the other way. You could have done some client stuff and been like, fuck this, filmmaking sucks, all this shit, and forget personal. You could have been, that could have been a route like someone else might have taken, being like, fuck that, I just want to do something else. But instead, you were like, no, 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 this just made me realize this. You got to put it together yourself. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
written out to you.
Like I have what's good about me is I I mean, I take this for granted sometimes. I try not to and stuff, but I sometimes have to remind myself, I'm like, fuck, I'm so lucky that I was able to come to the realization that I kind of knew what I wanted to do at a younger age. And
Yeah.
that's what it's kind of a cheat. It's kind of a cheat, you know, like it gave me a pretty good head start because it's like, okay, I I'll tell you, I was 18 years old when I realized I was like, okay, I wanted to do camera stuff, and then more seriously when I was like 19, I wanted to do like creative arts stuff. You know what I mean? And that kind of gave me I kind of like got locked in. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized it was a fuck this shit kind of thing, it wasn't a matter of fuck I'm gonna do something else now. It's just a matter of how am I gonna repurpose this thing that I'm so obsessed with in a way that's gonna fulfill me
Dude,
even more.
recognizing your passion
Yeah.
is very again underrated. Like
Yeah.
it's such a big step because then some people might take 20 years to make it to the top. Some people might take 2 years. It doesn't matter that, but you've recognized it now. So
Yeah.
now you know what your purpose is. Like you know what inside your like what your calling is.
Yeah.
Figuring that out at 18, dude. Some people who figure out at 30, they're still blessed because they
Yeah.
could have went to 50 and not.
Nah,
And then if
for
you
real.
figure out 50, it's still better because you could have been on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Realizing, you know what I'm saying?
I'm 22 by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Which
Shirty's forward, you know what I'm saying? Jeez. Forward.
we're only older women, eh?
Yeah, I'm looking for the Cougars. Okay, never mind. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, go ahead.
Okay.
Which I wanted to actually talk about this. So it's a segue, I guess. But you talk about your age. I don't want to sound like a grandpa,
Yeah.
you know. But for me, it's like, because I hang out with you, like work wise, and we do shit.
Yeah.
Even Justin, he's younger than me.
Yeah.
Tristan, right? He's your age, right?
My
Tristan,
age,
yeah. Bassett, same thing,
My
right?
age, yeah.
Iad, younger. Iad, how you pronounce the name? Man, I always fucking up.
Yeah.
Iad.
Yeah.
He's younger than you guys too. On top
Yeah,
of that, right?
he's a couple years younger.
It's interesting because a part of me like it's there is that little part that's like, oh man, like once in a while, right? Like when you trust me, man, there's always someone younger than you hustling hard. Like I'm that to a guy who's 37
And
out there.
I know a guy that's 17 right now, so he's like 5-6 years younger than me. This guy's killing shit, dude.
So there's always, and that's always, I think, and again, there's two ways to look at it now. I could be like, oh man, like fuck these guys. They're like, but because there's a part of me that feels like it gets stressed out, being like, shit, I wish, or like, what's that word? Not stressed out. What's the word when you think back? Regret, I guess, in a weird way, where it's like, man, I should have started at 19. Because I'm like, I still think I'm blessed that I started like, and I know my passion, but I didn't take it seriously like till 3.5 years ago, when I was like past mid 20s.
Mhm.
So I and then there's that feeling of like, oh man. But then I started looking at it in a different way, where it's like, this is inspiring. Like and it reminds me of why I got into it too. Because the difference between me and you and age wise, right away, mentality wise, is the way you kind of approach projects. I think is different than how I approach it.
Mhm.
Which me, I'm not, and I know you also get stressed. You get anxiety for projects. It's like you'd be like, so, man, like my buddy tells me like any filmmaker who doesn't get like antsy for projects is a sociopath. Like, you know, like the fact that you're that calm, that you're like, yeah, of course, this video's gonna turn out like this.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
My bad.
So that I believe that. I think so,
Yeah.
I think it's like there's like something so normal and so healthy to feel antsy and like feel nervous about a project.
Yeah.
It's good for you, right? But the way like, and I don't know how to put it exactly, but it's this confidence you have, or Tristan has, or like other young artists have, that of like, you're not looking at it as this is my make or break project when you make something. That's how I kind of see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the age thing, because I'm like, every year that goes by, there's this antsiness to I'm not there yet. And especially then I see younger people like doing great. Then I'm like, oh, this next thing has to be the one. And I started doing that for a while, and that put me into depression.
Unhealthy.
Cause
Yeah.
it's so unhealthy. And
Yeah.
I'm again, knock on wood, and feeling grateful that I recognize that as well. Because if I didn't, I would have went down an even darker hole.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty happy that and grateful for the fact that I recognize that, because now I kind of see it openly, and I still sometimes will feel it. I can't just shake that feeling off of like, oh fuck, this next one has to be dope.
Dude, but you're like kind of fucking hard on yourself, man. You've done some pretty sick projects, dude.
And I think that's kind of healthy to be hard on yourself too, maybe, because I am. I think
Because I mean, think about it. Like how many. Yeah, like it's just a matter of perspective, I guess. Because when I look at you, I'm like, okay, shit, this guy's killing shit. You know, like fuck, like for example, the Osmos commercial probably a lot of people bring up and shit, but still like being able to
I
work with
saw you think about that like 2 seconds
2
ago, and
seconds
now I
ago.
want to say it because you're like it's probably the most redundant thing. But no,
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like that's when I'm for example, when did you do that project, if you don't mind me asking?
I did 2 of them now. So last year was the first one.
Last year was the first one. So 1 year ago. So I didn't at that point I still was like,
Last April maybe, yeah.
yeah, like when I see that, especially at the point last year where I was at last year, I was like, okay, fuck, this is sick. This guy's, he's working with fucking basketball players and shit. Like, dude, that's alone. And even I can imagine other directors that are your age and older than you, like that's like that alone, like that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So like that's, I mean, you have to kind of like
Which
realize,
I got, yeah.
like, I mean, I know you probably have your spin on it and shit too, but I'm just telling you how it is from the outside.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, and I
but
appreciate,
yeah.
and it's good to because
Yeah.
I had to remind myself that last year, like even the DP that shot it. Hopefully, I get Dennis on this podcast, man. But Dennis, because me and him had like our own spin on the we weren't happy with the end product, right?
Mhm.
But even he was telling me, he's like, dude, like, because me and him were kind of bitching about it. Like, even though we got to work with Powell and Van Vliet, and it was like at the end of the day, I know people liked it. Like, there were some people who also probably saw what I saw, which was like quality, like vibe, and the way it was. I didn't think directing was a great job. All that, blah 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 blah, insecurities, right?
Yeah.
But I know people like
Tell me about it.
posted it, right?
Yeah.
Talked about it, all that shit. So I know people were
Yeah.
happy with it. So, anyways, Dennis even we were talking on the phone one time, and he was like, or yeah, something like that, where like it was a month after it was started airing so much on TV. And he was like, dude, like I was watching with my buddy, and he was watching with his buddy, who was also a DP, and same thing. He was like, I was like looking at it and being kind of like, like not too happy with it, like, oh yeah, it's on. And his friend was like, dude, I've been in this industry for like this many years, I haven't even had a TV commercial. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and that's the thing because we get so involved in like, which it's again, it is healthy to be like, I gotta be better, but it's like to not be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is posting it. They were messaging me. We got into an article that it was like one of the most effective ads of the playoffs. All this shit, and I'm still like,
Kids.
oh man,
Yeah, that's what I'm
this
saying,
ad was.
like-
Which even I that's what you got to balance. It's just like that thing is like, yeah, want
Bro,
to get
if-
better, but
Fam, I already know if I shot that shot, pull up the shorty, be like, yo, that basketball
I
player.
never used it.
shot
I
that
screwed
guy."
up, dude. I never used
How?
it as a pickup line.
That's my homie. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
what am I doing? What am I doing here? No, that would have been genius.
Oh my God, you shoot the Raptors.
Yeah, me and one sec. Yo, Fred, what up? Yo, shut up. Get up. One sec. Norm's there too. I gotta take this.
Yeah.
Put your number down. I'll come back and get it. Like, just use it real
Exactly.
quick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, it's cool, man. Like, it's so cool. I mean,
I don't
I
like.
know what you're talking about because I experience it on my own level, on my own projects. Obviously, like, I feel like there's like, every time I make a piece of work, I end up just not liking it at the
Yeah.
end. It's so bad to say.
And even if you like it, you'll like it for a day,
a day,
and then you're like,
dude.
"What the fuck did I make?"
and then exactly. So I feel like it's just something that is just, it's like there's probably a word for it. Some fucking smart guy made a phrase or a saying or some shit about it, but it's definitely something that's real and exists. Like, cause I experienced that same thing, but at the same time, it's like you see the way I look at your Osmos shit and your Raptor shit, and then probably somebody else looks at my
100%,
shit like that. So
100%.
I feel like it's all about our perspectives, kind of like
Yeah,
making
well,
sure
hey,
we
man,
find a healthy balance.
Rocky said it right. You're your own biggest enemy, and that's
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
which is what it is. Your
absolutely.
mind playing your own, like
Yeah.
talking shit to you or making you feel insecure. It's a big part of it.
It's so facts. Like, even in anything that I make, like, for example, if we're making music too, like, fuck, like we will cook up and shit, and then like we'll make a fire ass track and everyone's rocking with it, and then I'll listen to it the next day. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, so, sometimes like
there's a.
it's like
But tell me, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Music and film, because
Yeah.
I work in music in a different way.
Yeah.
I give input as like an EP
Yeah,
on
yeah.
projects for YSF.
yeah,
But you actually you do that as well. But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
also
exactly.
make music. Though.
yeah,
So
100%.
can I ask you? You make a song
Yeah.
and it's good.
Mhm.
Like you're like, this is a good song.
Mhm.
Then you make a video,
Mhm.
like or a music video or someone else film, and even say it's whatever, and you're like, this is good,
Mhm.
right? Now, which one wears off quicker?
Holy shit. Which one will the effect of which one wears off quicker?
Which one would
The
you?
song.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like, which one?
Which one do you quicker feel like this was shit? Like you know how like
Oh, fuck. Dude, that's a tough question. I haven't done it enough to provide you with an
I would
answer.
say, I mean, I don't know anything.
I've
about
only
it.
done
I would say
one-
video.
I only shot one music. I've only been in one music video of my own music.
No, okay.
So like,
So no, so okay, no, not that. you make a project for someone. Like you
Okay.
make a music video.
Right.
You make it for another artist even.
Right.
You're like, this is a dope music video.
Right.
Right? You directed it.
Okay.
This is a directing project, not a starring project.
Okay.
You directed a music video. This is your video. You recorded a song. This is your song.
Okay.
Both you drop the video. You're like, oh, that's pretty dope. I did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You dropped the song. Oh, I did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Which one quicker will you be like, that sucked?
Yeah. The video for sure.
video?
Because you know what? You know what the thing is, right? The thing is like.
I think I knew it, but I wanted you to say it.
Yeah. It's that never-ending chase of perfection. So like. I know. I always say this to myself. If I had one more day to work on this video, if I had 2 more days to work on this video, if I had.
But then why not the song though?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I don't either actually. I don't know the exact words, but I can imagine that's the thing though, man.
But like you know what, music is different. Like I feel like.
When it hits, you feel no pain.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like music is a lot more sentimental, you know, like it's a lot more for me.
You gotta be more protective of it though.
Yeah, like for me, well, not even like for me, it's like if I were to make music, I'm making music for myself, you know, like it's like, I mean, then I'll share. I'm not making, you know what I'm saying, like.
But film, you're making it for others more.
Well, I mean, when I'm doing projects for other people, yes,
Yeah,
because I'm not a producer. I'm not recording other people.
Fair
You know what I'm
enough.
saying? It's like 2 different things, and that's kind of what it is. Like,
I think it's also
mhm.
and I'm not, dude. I think making music is so tough. I can't rap. I wanna make a song one day, but
How
I
about
can't.
the 4 door with the 4/4 screaming 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Is that you?
chilling in the court? Nah, it's
Oh,
not.
okay, then don't quote other rappers. All right? I could do that too. I could.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, fuck. I was gonna say, man. I think more of you goes into making a video than a music song. And I mean, I don't mean sentimentally, because maybe sentimentally, maybe music
Yeah.
goes more. I'm talking about the actual hours. Like
Oh,
you have to first think
100%.
of the idea, then write the idea, then shoot the idea, then you gotta edit the idea, then color the idea. There's so many things you gotta do to it from start to finish.
There's more
Music.
elements. There's more elements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more steps, more bigger process.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we get so like by the time we finish it, what you started off with, that feeling you had, like in that song, you feel this inspiration, you write it, you record it. It's a quicker little window.
Yeah.
With the video, it takes like sometimes the smallest, like say it's an ad for something like not even a big brand, you're just doing a quick little
Mhm.
turnaround. That'll still the fucking Nike thing we're doing right now. It's a passion project. I know it's a big brand, but it's a passion project. We started like we already recorded it once technically
Yeah.
a month ago.
Yeah.
Probably a bit more than that, but it'll take us from when I told you about the idea to our final product. It'll be like a 4-month period. It
Yeah.
3 months. Song, you write some lyrics, you have
Hop
an
in the
idea, a beat.
stew, fam. Hop in the stew.
Hop in the stew,
Hop
fam.
in the stew. Man, just
Hop
lay
in
down
the
on 1, 2
stew.
track, fam. Don't
So-
watch me.
I think that's what it is. I think
Yeah.
that's why yeah, it's and which I think is very addicting for me about videos and film. It's like I do like how it becomes part of your life for a couple months. It's like this little thing you're growing, and then you go to a different one. But I kind of like that.
And then when you don't want to work on it, it's like fucking a tumor.
Oh my gosh! But some people, man, that's the thing. Like when they see it, like so funny. Dude, my photographer friends, when they see me on set, even Bassett on set that day, it was just funny. He always makes that joke. He's like, I'm never leaving photography. He's like, thank God for photography, because it's like when you see filmmaking as an art form and you're on set, it's such it looks so grueling. Like from a third perspective, it looks like it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like
Yeah.
you're stressed, and you're gonna be you were stressed before the shoot. You're stressed after the shoot. Why are you doing this to yourself? So I feel like you need to have some kind of specific like addiction to it, and
Yeah, you have to be a fucked up guy. I feel. I mean, or a girl, to a certain level. I mean, like you have to be very keen and persistent, and you have to be very
a dreamer. You have to be a
You
dreamer.
have to be a dreamer, and yeah, 100%. You know, like you got to be invested in the long term. You know, it's
Yeah.
not something where you go and it's not a flip. You know, it's a long term investment,
Yeah.
and yeah, like that's the thing. Like, it's like it's a painful process, but it's like beautifully painful.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's really weird. I mean,
There is a beauty to like the pain. 100%. That's a
And-
very good point. Good way to put it.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, for me, it's like it's such a I can't even articulate what I'm thinking, but like I feel like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a thing.
Yeah.
man. It's
You have
just-
to. I feel like I've repeated this in another episode. Like you have
Yeah.
to like love feeling miserable almost. Like,
Yeah.
in a weird way. You
In
know
a
what I'm saying?
weird
Like, you
way,
don't actually love it, but it's like you're okay with it because you're like, I'd rather feel this than not feel this and not make films.
Mhm.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, like it's also fun too. Like it's also
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
so
not
fun. Like
I'm making it sound like
I
it's
know, I
all
know.
it's like all shit. Like it's
Yeah.
all misery. But
No,
no, it's so
it's-
much fun.
yeah, no, 100%. I feel like that's like it's like
the payoff.
Yeah. I mean, seeing for me, it's like I love seeing the reactions of other people to to my work after it's like, like, okay, I've done all this stuff and I love it myself. And it's like, okay, cool. And then other people love it too, or other people respond to it. It's like, it's a cool, it's like, I made this.
And I want to do that at a grander scale. Like I want to be able to do that where, like right now, I know there's maybe 50 people, 100 people, or 1,000 people that'll watch, or I guess again for the maybe the Osmos thing more, and they like liked and they felt something. Like for those 15 seconds or for a music video 2 minutes. I want to do it at a larger scale where it's like 1 million people see this project, this video, this commercial, this film, and they're like, oh, and then get to 10 million people. And it's like, if you can influence them a little bit, like inspire them or whatever it is in a way where it's inspire maybe filmmakers or people watching it to do certain things or feel a certain way. I mean, that's like to have that
It's fucking
ability.
sick.
And also like it's like on a more personal like this that's like I feel like for the grand scheme I do love that feeling and I want that. But also on the personal level of like thinking of an idea and then seeing it no idea and then seeing it like done. Like you're like, yo, I thought of this the other week or like a month ago.
I burnt the shit out my mind,
And then,
bitch.
yeah, right? It's crazy.
No, for sure. Yeah,
And then,
it's
yeah. And then you know what you're saying earlier about like insecurities? Like you're like how you make something and you think it's good, but then over time you're like, there's like actually a director. How do you pronounce his name? Denis Villeneuve.
I don't know anyone, bro.
You know? Have you seen Arrival? No, eh?
Dude, I'm
Prisoners?
the worst. I'm the worst. Don't even try.
You must have seen Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah, Blade Runner 20. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the new one. So he made that.
Yeah, okay.
He's made a
cool.
bunch of other gems, right?
Nice.
That dude's. I was reading something recently, and he was talking about how he's like his biggest issue in the beginning, which is always kind of humbling to hear like big guys like him talk about it. You need another coffee, don't you?
Me? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just go for a little stretch, you get me?
But he says like when in the beginning, what was antsy to me was like doing something and then something else could be on screen. Like I thought of something and it wasn't what I thought of.
Oh, 100%.
And then he's like, what experience and everything, which is the persistence and being kind of messed up to stay with it, is eventually over years it starts lining up.
Oh, that's really cool. I think about that all the time.
Getting to that,
Because it's like, and it's a couple things. Thing number one is, yes, I started to gauge my expectations a little bit too. Because sometimes I'll have a wacky, crazy idea, and then I'll be disappointed when it doesn't come out the same way,
Yeah.
I initially envisioned it. And then two is also something I realized was a big mistake is at my point right now, so I could say like, how he said when he started it was a lot wide, the gap was a lot wider, and it's like I'd have an idea for a client and I'm like, yo, listen, I got you this fucking amazing idea. This is it. Hear me out. Bam. Come editing time, turnover time, here yo, check out the first cut. Wait. It's different,
And you forget that
But
they don't understand.
They
that
don't
part.
understand the way that ideas shift and mold and change and stuff. And like being able to kind of nail that exact idea you had at the beginning is a very, very difficult task.
But okay, but here's the thing though.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
I'm saying in like specifically music videos. That's where I'm coming from, because I'll have an idea. I'll be like, okay, we want to do this, this, and this, and then it's like, okay, well, we don't have this location. Budget doesn't allow us to do this, and then my editing skills, for example, we don't have the budget for me to outsource something.
Well, at that point, it's like, why do you to the artist? Which I mean, it's a frustration a little bit. It's like, dude, like then how about you budget more?
Yeah, but they don't understand that,
Yeah.
and it's like they're like, oh, and I guess also part of that lays down on me, and I realized I was like, I need to
You
start.
can't promise them.
I need to start, gauging expectations a little bit better, because I'll be very passionate about an idea and I'll know how to pull it off, and then reality hits, bam.
Yeah.
This is what you're left with. So I guess over time I definitely
It'll change 100%. You'll pitch an idea to like a big artist and be like, this is what the video is, and you will make that video.
And I will if it is.
But the
case.
experience and budget, dude. Like you're
Yeah.
here and your vision is here, and it'll always be like this. And then experience budget grows. Your experience obviously is growing as you're making more. Your budget's getting better because your clients trust you more, and you're getting better clients.
Yeah.
And then it lines up.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I think it's not just money. Like you can honestly throw money at a problem, it won't go away. You need that experience as well.
100%.
If you had 10 times the budget on that
get your hands
project, you
dirty.
still might not have been able to make it because your experience wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And you making these projects, these ambitious projects, I think it's so important to kind of almost like you're right, gauge your expectations 100%.
Yeah.
But go for the stars, because trying to like that was that saying, go for the stars and you land on the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shoot
'Cause,
for
like
the shoot
shoot for the stars and you'll land on the moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that vibe because you gotta kind of be ambitious to kind
Yeah.
of be here. Then go and then you gotta keep stretching it. If you keep only, you're like, okay, I can only make under in these four walls. I can make this project, and you only make that.
Yeah.
You gotta reach higher. You know?
100%,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, that's a cool point you brought up. Like, definitely. Don't get me wrong. The work's still sick, you know, because
Yeah.
my lad me is still sitting there. You get me, but like, yeah, 100%. You gotta find that balance eventually, but it comes with time, like you
Yeah,
said.
man. Yeah.
You know.
You get to it's a longer learning curve than other careers. I feel. Oh, no, that's not true. Maybe still.
I mean, not in my experience. So here's the thing.
no, sorry. I know what you're gonna say, so
Yeah.
I'll still let you say it. But I mean more
Alright.
long curve and like trying to get to like that vision. Like
Yeah.
compared to like a surgeon, it's not like, oh, my first surgery, I don't know what I'm doing. Like you're only doing it in our career.
Yeah.
We start at a level where it's like we're not hitting the exact thing because we need
Right.
more experience, and then it might take someone a year, 5
100%.
years, 10 years. So it's a bit of an interesting where it's like just because we started filmmaking doesn't mean like we're hitting our level
Yeah.
of what we want to do. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you have to make sure you don't like to, like we said earlier. But yeah, I mean,
So learning curve, you were gonna say something.
yeah, I was gonna say learning curves. I mean, one thing that I found out is, it's not it's kind of like common knowledge, but it's like just being able to get your hands dirty and like putting yourself in those situations where you can get your hands dirty and taking on more shit. Like, I see with filmmaking specifically is there is room for exponential growth. It's not a matter of, it's not like being an electrician. You have to put in the hours. Like you have to.
You've just lost all my electrician
no.
viewership. Any audience member that was an electrician is gone.
No. I'm saying to be an electrician, you have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
put in a certain amount of hours
yeah.
to be a certified electrician because you got to know this shit like super well. And I feel like it's the same for obviously in some areas, but I feel like filmmaking is so many different things within filmmaking that there's room for like that exponential learning and growth versus just it being a gradual thing. That's what I found out, at least, um like, don't get me wrong, I've got a long way to go before I get to the spot that I really want to be in, or
Yeah.
but I feel like it's cool because there's the learning curve can be not as bad if you put yourself in the right places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, also being passionate about it, right? Even
Yeah, of
learning
course.
curve,
You
yeah,
have to. I mean,
but yeah.
you have to be passionate
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
already. This is like a given. But I'm saying if you're already passionate about it, and then getting yourself in the right places around the right people or in the right time is so important. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, just keep evolving and like, yeah, man, it's interesting. For
Speaking
sure.
of,
Yeah.
'cause we were talking about clients a second
Yeah.
ago. I just want to bring up one more point that I was thinking about today, actually,
Yeah.
man. And it's kind of like, okay, so you know, you're talking about music videos, but like when it's
Yeah.
like corporate stuff or commercial,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Like I have a commercial right now that we're in post production. We're editing it. We're putting effects, color, all that. Today I sent over the first cut because that's the process. You got to send them the first cut. They
Yeah.
review it, give their notes. Now as a filmmaker, you know about first cuts.
Yeah.
What about first cuts?
It's a
It's torture.
It's yeah. It's just
Like
it's a draft.
common knowledge, I think, between filmmakers
Yeah.
is that a first cut is like, because first cut means the sound isn't mixed yet, the color
not
isn't done.
colored,
If
yeah.
there's animations, they're gonna be just like very basic right now, raw.
Yeah.
And there's room for like it's usually the longest cut you make too
It's
because it's like
unseasoned chicken.
yes, wow, I like that. And now as a filmmaker, I know that, and even for me, it's still so hard to swallow because I'll be watching it and I'm like I know that I've seen first cuts that by the end of it I'm like, this is pretty good. Like I've
Right.
been happy with it,
Right.
But so when I see a first cut now, I'm still like stressed out a little bit. I'm like, oh man,
Mhm.
this is so fucking shit. This is so bad.
Yeah.
It's like it's so unseasoned. It's so bland right now. You know?
But add the sauce and the spices and all
So
that
when
good
you send
shit.
to a client though, I feel like because they're not from a filmmaking
They'll
background,
be
which
like,
makes sense.
they start to freak out.
Yeah, so I have to every time I send a first cut, dude. Even today, I had to like
Page
do a
of
whole
notes.
spiel. Yeah, I'm like, so by the way, remember, we are like this is just to get tempo and pacing and
It does nothing.
yeah,
it
I
doesn't-
know,
it
I know,
doesn't
but
help.
and it sucks because it's like I already got to deal with like I want the notes. We need notes obviously, but it's like now I got to deal with their panic too a
Dude,
little bit.
It's so annoying because I literally make sure I know when I'm sending a first cut. It's like, okay, listen, the color's not done. The end,
Yeah, the
whatever.
whole little
the
spiel,
whole spiel, the whole paragraph,
and then their first note.
and then I'm like, and also also they'll be like, yeah, I completely get it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
100
yeah.
no, dude, no, it's fine. I
They're
get it,
like,
bro.
we know,
We know,
we've
know.
seen it before.
They see it and like, oh, we're very stressed out, and like the panic that comes after. I'm be like, I just fucking told you, like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? You know,
Like, yeah, I've had them tell me like right off the bat, like, so the color. I mean, that's not done, right? I'm like, well, that's like the first thing I wrote.
if you read the notes,
Yeah.
Margaret.
It's always a marker.
Yeah.
But no,
But-
it's just it's funny to me. It's kind of a funny exercise because by the end of the conversation, then they calm down, and then also when they see the final cut, they're like, oh, dope, okay, we get what you're talking about. But it's just always such a funny little that step inside the
super
first
stressful.
cut. Yeah, for me it's stressful too,
I hate that
right?
shit. I
Like,
get
and I'm stressed for the wrong reasons. Like it might be it's a good first cut, but I'm stressed because I'm like they're not gonna understand.
Yeah, they don't.
So
it's,
it's,
it's. I mean, I've had a couple people that I work with that understand, and I like
Clients,
I like
right? Yeah,
working
yeah,
with
yeah.
those
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
because they're like, they're pretty nonchalant and stuff. I mean, there has to be a good balance between knowing what they like, knowing what they want out of the project, but also understanding the process. So I feel like, I guess it's detrimental to communicate that in like the deliverables.
Yeah, yeah.
mean,
No, I get that.
But yeah, I've had some pretty good experiences at the same time. So shouts out to those people.
It's
that-
the ones that come in with full confidence.
Yeah.
That I love those clients because they understand what they're getting into and
Mhm.
they understand they're paying you for your skill.
Mhm.
Some clients come in, they're like, I'm paying you, but for your skill is 50%, but 50% is what I want, right? Which is
Yeah.
great. I mean, they need to have something, but in this creative field, it's always a better client when they come in with this, like, I'm paying you basically for your skill, not
Yeah.
so I can give you input, so that you do your thing and you kill it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So those are my favorite kind of clients. But obviously, like that's business, man. You gotta deal with all. And then I love making fans out of, or like the ones that do come a little like, okay, but make sure you do it like how we do it. By the end of it, when they're really happy and they're like on our side now, I do like that. Obviously, it's a nice little feeling to be like,
Yeah, it
you've
is.
proven yourself.
It is for sure. Like I feel like it's important to have like someone there bugging you, because it does push you. Like but yeah, I just client work, man. Fuck. I just feel like it's so draining sometimes.
Yeah.
I just keep recirculating back to that original content idea. Like I feel like every time I go, even if I go through a good experience with a client, at the end of it, sometimes I'll be like, wow, that was fantastic. Now imagine I made this for myself.
Oh,
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like that's there's always that's just the road I always end up on. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
well, it's good that you know, and you're gonna do
Yeah.
it now, right?
yeah, 100%.
How many projects you got left? Before we're gonna start wrapping up probably, but
Yeah,
before
for sure.
yeah, how many
I
projects you got
mean,
left before you get into personal
yeah.
project mode?
Personal project mode. I would say I want to get into personal project mode December, maybe earlier, hopefully. But I have like one big production for November,
Yeah, I know that
and
one. That's gonna be
then
dope.
potentially the one that we're gonna do together.
That's gonna be doper.
And then also I have 3 projects to turn around right now. They're in post, so like 5 projects or so.
5 projects, 2 of them you're starting, and 3 you've finished. You're just on edit.
3
3 in
are
post.
3 are almost done. They're
Yeah.
basically 90%
They're
completion.
post, and then 2 are in pre.
And then 2 are in pre. So like I want to get those pre ones done. I mean, actually, technically 3 for counting Nike, which is kind of like.
Oh, that's one of those kind of Nike, and then
I was,
the
I
big
was talking
video.
about the super slow mo shit that we might do.
Oh my God, dude, I really want to do that. Yeah.
So like that.
That
the
is 3
Nike
then,
too,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
so
the good thing is on Nike and on the Super Slow Mo, you'll have
that's like a
lot of-
collaboration,
yeah.
and that's the thing. Like getting to work with people like you and like Tristan and stuff. It's so much better sharing the weight sometimes. Like having a good team is so important. Like sharing like having designated roles. I mean, for me, it's like a lot of the time I just want like I want all the credit, I want all the glory. You know what I'm saying? But
Russ, you
like
mixed master engineer.
yeah, mixed master, exactly, mixed master engineer and shit like Rust type shit. But it's like even having a designated role sometimes on a project, and I feel like that's how it is, especially the more you climb the film
Yeah,
ladder.
100%.
I feel like
That's the smartest move
n-
you can make when you climb, because you want to be part of 8 projects. You understand you're gonna kill 2 that you're gonna say direct,
yeah,
but then there's like 3 you're producing, 2 you're this on. Like
Yeah.
that's how you get better and you have more experience. Like we're saying we need experience to get better. What's better than doing 5 projects, getting 5 times the experience?
Yeah.
But the thing is, then you delegate. You're one person here, you're one person
and then
here.
that comes with time too. Like I mean,
Yeah.
earlier on too, when you're working with smaller budgets, you inevitably end up doing more things yourself.
Well,
but-
also when like you don't have any rapport. Like I mean,
Yeah, especially,
no
yeah,
one
if
gives up. Like yeah, you're a
Yeah.
filmmaker. Good luck. It's like
Yeah,
no, dude,
fine.
help me out. Work with me. Be my
Yeah.
thing. but now it's like you get better, you do more work.
Exactly, and yeah, that's the thing. So I like that. I like being able to have a designated role sometimes and still be part of a dope ass project
Yeah.
and shit. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for all those. But yeah, hopefully once I get those turned, I'm working on like some of my own shit on the side too, just slowly, gradually, just getting into the groove so that when I am done with everything, I can just kind of, instead of having to start cold turkey, I can just pick up where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my shtick right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, big time, know what I'm saying?
I was gonna ask a question. I want to do a top 5. So we play top 5 here sometimes.
Okay.
Trying to figure out how to make it
Shirt
a segment.
off.
Yeah. It's gonna be like a music like a beat right now,
Yeah,
please.
my cell phone. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, your cell phone's dead. Which one do you have? 11 or 12?
No, it's the iPhone 8 Plus.
Oh, I knew it.
Mine's like me, no dick.
Um,
No crack screen though. Watch that.
we're playing top 5.
Okay.
So I want to. How do I do it last time? It's basically top 5 in a category. Your top 5 things. So last time Mark did chocolate, for example, his top 5 chocolates, right? So
Cool.
let's go subcategory before we go into the thing. So which subcategory? You want movies or you want food related?
Fuck. I mean, it's a good question. Let's do a pick a finger here.
All right.
It's food, bro.
All right. Top 5 beverages. That's pretty
Top
random,
5
right? Pretty random.
beverages. Gee.
Pretty weird one.
Yo, put y'all on. Every time I hit the every time I hit the Cineplex, I go for that. You know they have the machine where you mix all the drinks and the
Ah,
flavors.
you just make a shit ton.
No, I go for vanilla ginger ale. The hell is that? What the dude? Shit slaps.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I
So
like.
that's number 1 though. That's number 1 though.
Anytime I go to the theaters.
That's number 1 though.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
That's
fuck.
fine if it is. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna put it as number 1 because I love going to Cineplex.
I missed that shit. man.
So when I go to Cineplex, then
When's the last time you went though?
I went to watch the Tenet. So I actually went
Tenet,
recently.
right? Yeah. Last month, 2 months ago, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Last month actually. So yeah, that's my number 1 drink. Even though it may be not even taste wise, it's just like the nostalgia and everything,
Oh,
whatever.
dope.
Like
Yeah,
that's the whole vibe.
That's a great reason.
It's a
though. That's
vibe
good
drink.
reason.
It's a vibe drink for
It's
sure.
not
Like some
just for
people might
taste.
taste it and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Nah, it's a vibe. You understand?
I'm gonna try it next time.
Yeah, it's good. Fuck, 4 more shit. Water.
Oh, water.
Yeah, water is
Favorite
good,
water?
man. I'm just gonna put water on there. Water's underrated, you know, like.
Sorry, was it not recording?
Uh,
Oh, sorry,
Okay,
sorry,
yeah, water would
Vanilla
be
ginger ale, water. Water's
Water.
number 2. Okay.
number 3. I'm gonna have to go for the classic junior chicken and Fruitopia Sprite combo. You already know what it is.
Fruitopia Sprite.
Sprite, broski. You know what it is,
What else?
man.
3, yeah.
Yeah, man, from McDonald's only. And then number 4 now, right? Number 4, Zemzem water. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep my soul pure and shit. Yes, sir. Cleanse my sins, baby. No, it's not even how that works, but yeah. I'm a
Dave
whole.
Chappelle just talked about that, eh?
Did he?
About Zemzem.
Oh yeah, I
He's-
seen that.
yeah,
Letterman.
that's what
yeah,
made
yeah.
me that,
Yeah. Yeah, Zemzem water for sure, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's number 4, though, bro. It's kind of weak, bro. It should be number 1 still.
Whatever, bro. Honorable. Okay, fine. I'll switch number 2. I'll make
Alright,
Zemzem water.
Everything moves down 1.
All right, yeah. I
Number
can't
5.
even cap. I don't even drink it like that because it's like all the way
Who
across
does?
the world. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like all the way there. Yeah.
Number 5. I'm gonna have to go for
Forgetting one.
for. What?
Say what you're gonna say though.
I'm forgetting one.
Yeah, say what you're gonna say. I don't think you're gonna say the one I think you should be saying.
Wait, is it an inside thing that we?
No, it's an obvious thing.
Oh, coffee. I mean, coffee's just always there.
Coffee's
you know?
number 1. Nah, that's a beverage. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean,
water's always
okay.
sorry, water's always there
here's,
too, dog.
Here's what we're gonna do. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna recategorize. I'm gonna keep the. I'm gonna bump coffee up to number 1.
There
'Cause I
we
need
go.
that shit to run my life.
Yes.
I'm gonna take down ginger ale, vanilla. Actually, no. Vanilla ginger ale stays at the top. Coffee's number 2,
Okay.
cause that shit just hits me different.
Then water.
Number 3, I'm gonna put Zemzem water, cause you made me feel guilty. And then number
Fruitopia
4, Fruitopia Sprite, just for the classic, you know.
First of all, coffee. Basic coffee.
I take my coffee with 1 cream.
Okay.
Yeah, black one. I mean, yeah, no sugar.
Weird fact to know about you, but sure.
Yeah, I like cold brew too. Starbucks, that
It's
shit
gonna be
slaps.
like a IMDb trivia.
Yeah, and then yo, watch this. When I'm famous, bro, Nardwar is gonna come up to me and just be like, "So you like coffee?" Dude. Shit, I'll manifest that shit right now, cause, and then number 5, I had something in mind. What the fuck was it? What was it?
Hey man, it's the last one. Take your time, baby.
Number 5 was how could I forget, man? Oh yes. This one's for my boy Yez. It's an inside drink. It's called Throat Soup.
Throat soup. What's that?
It's a orange pico tea Triple.
Why is it called throat soup?
Don't worry about it.
What's it called? Sorry, what is it called?
What? The drink itself or throat soup?
Throat soup.
Throat
Throat soup.
soup.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Orange pekoe tea triple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that out.
That's like tastes like like chai and stuff.
Oh yeah, I love
It
chai.
just slaps, man.
Yeah, bro.
Makes me feel
I'm-
good
I'm
inside.
tacky. What do you think? I
Sugar.
like?
Oh my god. And then those are
Those are your top
my
five.
top 5 drinks. You heard it here first,
I
folks.
was gonna say top 5. It's like, give a little thumbs up so we have for the thumbnail.
Cool.
All right, good. Any last remarks? Anything you want to talk about before we head off? Anything you want to tell the audience before we leave?
Yeah, guys. You're welcome.
There it is. right. And that's it for today. We're signing off.
Yeah, I'm done. That was fun
Peace.
as fuck, yo. Peace out.
He talked after I said peace. I gotta do it again now.
Oh shit, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah. Peace.
Ah.
All right, guys. Fuck.
Ah.
All right, guys. It's been a deal, Shamsi. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Good.